الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير وإليه المصير. We are with Surat Al-Maeda. Surat Al-Maeda. And today I want to address specific verses of the surah and I want to start with verse number 44. Verse number 44 is a long verse that starts out addressing Torah, how it's been sent to Bani Israel and the like. But the tail end of the ayah is what is really what I want to focus on today. The ayah concludes with the following statements: وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Those who do not rule by the word of Allah, by that which Allah had sent, these are the disbelievers. فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Wallahi, this verse, I can claim that it is the most misinterpreted and most abused verse of the Quran Kareem for the following reasons. There have been fundamentalists in our deen just like there have been in any other deen. There are fundamentalist Jews, there are fundamentalist Christians, there are fundamentalist Muslims as well. And they have taken this verse and claimed that it means that if you don't rule by the rule of Allah, then you are a disbeliever, you are a kafir. Right? That's a big claim. It's a heavy claim. But let me tell you what they did based on that. From as early on as التحكيم وعلي بن أبي طالب ومعاوية 1,400 years ago, right? 1,400 years ago. They have accused Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Khawarij have accused Ali ibn Abi Talib to be a kafir. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Sihr Nabi, his cousin, fourth Khalifa. They dubbed him as a kafir. Why? Because he had accepted the adjudication between him and Muawiyah and didn't rely on the book. And at the time they used to raise the book on the tip of the swords to signify that this is the way it's supposed to be and you're not doing it, therefore you are وَلِيَعْذُ بِاللَّهِ being called a kafir. If ever there was a position where I would rather be dead than be having to be in the shoes of that person, it is Ali ibn Abi Talib at that time. Wallahi, you wouldn't believe the agony that he had gone through at this controversial time of fitna. And prior to the Muawiyah incident, you have the Mawqat al-Jamal. Mawqat al-Jamal, why is it called al-Jamal? Because Sayyidina Aisha was being delivered on the camel to the battleground to fight against Sayyidina Ali. When he learned that, Ali ibn Abi Talib actually cried. al-Mu'mineen is coming to fight him. What a mess. And he ended up seeking her and talking to her directly. We don't know what the dialogue was between the two, but we know that the outcome was that Sayyidina Aisha turned around and moved away from that battle. And when he was negotiating with Muawiyah, he was really between the rock and a hard place. His back was against the wall. He had no real recourse to preserve the unity of this deen and this ummah, and at the same time, do what is right. He knows that he is on the right, but he also knows that he is being challenged. He's being challenged. So those people are there from that time on, and until this very day, and until the day of judgment, you will find those who will come and tell you, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. I tell them, and I argued a lot with these people until I got tired of arguing, and I said, وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. There is no sense in getting anywhere. But what I used to say is the following. I said, first off, I'm going to take the false premise with you. I'm agreeing with the false premise that these are kafirin. What next? What does give you the right to go ahead and act violently against them? Show me in the Quran that says that when you see a kafir, you're supposed to chop their head. And you won't find it. What you will find in the Quran with regards to Iman wal-Kufr is something that we all have read this morning in Surat Al-Kahf. وَقُلِ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ آية 29 وَقُلِ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Allah has sent you the truth. He who chooses to believe, let him believe. He who chooses to disbelieve, let him disbelieve. It's a choice, akhi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is not saying that you all must, listen, you all must be believers. Abadan. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. Had He willed us to be all one uniform nation, all Muslimin on the face of the earth, that wouldn't have been difficult for Him to do. And just immediately following the greatest ayah of the Quran, Ayat al-Kursi, you find what? La ikraha fi ddin. There is no compulsion when it comes to belief or faith. There shall be no compulsion. This is a free choice. What good is it to force somebody to say La ilaha illallah when their heart is not? You know the Western famous saying about how you can lead the horse to the water, right? But you cannot force it to drink. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants hearts that are coming with conviction. They're coming with true belief, true faith. If others want to disbelieve, fine, let them. مش كده؟ إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا, the rest of the ayah, so that you don't think that it's just a matter of choice and it's an easy ride. No. نَعْتَدْنَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ نَارًا أَحَاطَ بِهِمْ سُرَادِقُهَا. At the end, there is going to be a hellfire waiting for them. طيب. So, even with a kafir, we don't have the right to get volatile or act violently against them. We don't have that right. And then I say, طيب, what about if you read the Quran and understand it in the right context, in the proper context, right? Any statement, if taken out of context, may be misconstrued. طيب, this verse, if you extract وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ and have it as a standalone statement, you may go astray in a second. You see? And I'll say to you that when you want to understand, just like when we said this Jum'ah, look for the occasion of the revelation, right? Asbab al-nuzul. Then you can understand things in the right context. And we ask, what was the occasion of the revelation of Al-Ayah 44 of Surat Al-Maeda, the one that ends with a verse that has been used since 1,400 years to this very day to create havoc and chaos and killing and murdering left and right. Well, here is the occasion. First off, this ayah is coming to address Bani Israel. It is not for everybody. It starts with إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا التَّوْرَاةَ فِيهَا هُدًى وَنُورٌ يَحْكُمُ بِهَا النَّبِيُّونَ. It is for talking about Bani Israel. It is not talking about you and I. That's the one thing. But then again, it is also addressing an issue related to the punishment for الزنا والعياذ بالله. The punishment for الزنا. By the way, the Jews, in their belief in the true dictum, they have the same punishment for zina that we have. But what they wanted to do was they wanted to alter the stoning aspect of it to reduce it to whiplashes. You see? Instead of having the distinction between a married versus an unmarried person committing the act, wherein if it's an unmarried, it's indeed 100 whiplashes. When it's a married person, it is stoning to death. They didn't like that stoning idea. And they said, we want to change that to be all across whiplashing, and that's it. They had a practice there with that is done through three aspects to punish somebody who has committed the fahish. These are the following: al-jald, whipping is number one, and then something called al-tahmim, and something called al-ishhar. What is tahmim? Tahmim is a form of disgracing a person who has committed the act by painting their faces black. It's known as tahmim. They would paint their faces black. And al-ishhar means to make it public, so that everybody would see and know that these people have done that act. And what they would do, was they would have the two people ride on a camel or horse or what have you, or any dabba, and they would have them back to back, with their faces painted, and they would go around with them so that everybody would see them. So they have the galt, they have the tahmeen, and they have the ishkar. You see? That was the punishment that was there. But essentially what is happening here is that Bani Israel wanted to reject the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about stoning to death he who is married and commits the act. And of course, by definition, rejecting the command of Allah is an act of kufr. Indeed, it is an act of kufr. And therefore, there shall be no surprise for the verse to end the way it did. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, meaning the hadd of the zina, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, because they rejected the mandate of Allah. So they are indeed kafirin. You see? Has nothing to do with us as Muslimin. That is entirely a treatment for Bani Israel for the particular had. That's the context. You take it out of context, you lose the meaning, and you misconstrue it, and you take it to where it doesn't belong. And subhanAllah, it was in Egypt, and at the time I was just a young engineer graduating from the Faculty of Engineering, And there was a group that was formed known as جماعة التكفير والهجرة. جماعة التكفير والهجرة, which simply, you've heard about it, Ya Muhammad, which simply is a group of people that judges the society as a kafir society, مجتمع كافر, and therefore, since this is a مجتمع كافر, we as a group, we have to do hijrah, we have to migrate, just like the Nabi migrated from Mecca to Medina, from al-kufr to al-iman. That was their conception, جماعة التكفير والهجرة. And this jama'ah was led by a man, a young man, probably in his late 20s, maybe early 30s at the most, at the time. And that man, well, by the way, his name was Shukri Mustafa. Shukri Mustafa. And Shukri Mustafa believed in that idea of Man lam yahkum bima anzala Allah fa ulaika humul kafirun, that he has to act, he has to do something. This is the dawla is kafir. The whole country is a kafir. Why? Yeah, you get to arguments that never get you anywhere. So what do? So what did he do? He kidnapped a minister of al-Awqaf, Wazir al-Awqaf, who was a sheikh, known as the Sheikh al-Zahabi, rahimahullah, at the time in his mid-70s. They kidnapped the man and took him to a suburb of Cairo, at the south side of Cairo, called Hilwan, and he executed him. Just put a bullet into his left eye and killed him point blank. Why did you do that? Because he's kafir. But this is a sheikh, Sheikh al-Zahabi. He's a sheikh, and he is an elderly sheikh. Yes, but he has accepted a position as a minister in the government that is, you see the fallacy of the thought, ya akhi? A government that is a kafira, therefore he, by proxy, is also a kafir and deserves to die. What logic is that? How can you accept that logic? And of course, nobody accepted that logic, and of course, Shukri Mustafa was put to a trial, and of course he got what he deserved, which is a death sentence, and he was executed, indeed. But I used to see him on television, wallahi. I used to look at that face, and I would see a madman, the hair is growing without bounds, and the looks of the eyes are, the best to describe them, to give you an idea, is that Rasputinic look, that Rasputinic look. And I said, what's wrong with the people? How can you be so far out and far-fetched and think that you are on the righteous track? This is the point. That when people are doing these acts, they believe deep down inside that they're doing executing the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that by doing that, they're going to Jannah. And he was defiant throughout the trial, by the way. He would insult the judges and and the lawyers and everybody, and he would tell them, you are going to hell, and you're a madman. Subhanallah. Today, you have youth of even lesser age than Shukri, who have ideas that you have to do something violent in order to get into Jannah. That includes blowing yourself up. That includes killing innocent civilians. That includes we see that happening all around us. And this is what the Sheikh hooks them with. مَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Then I tell them, now you understand that this ayah is not for us, but it's for Bani Israel. And then they come back, because they have little knowledge from here and there, so they will come at you and they will say, and I've heard that, by the way, retort many times. They say, the rule is al-ibra بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. That is a fiqh قاعدة, a fiqh rule that indeed is a valid one, which means essentially in a nutshell that when you read the words of the Quran, even if they are specialized for a special situation, you only take them with the general meaning. You generalize them. العبرة بعموم اللفظ. Take the words for the general meaning and don't bother with the occasion of the revelation. That's the sabab khas. And I say, okay, I agree with that also, but don't forget that that is not an absolute base rule in the deen or in the fiqh. It is not قاعدة مطلقة. It is not an absolute rule. إنما قاعدة مقيدة. It has its place where it's applicable, and then it has the place where it's not applicable. You remember today in the khutbah, we had referred to talking about the طاعة الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام. I referred to ayah 36 of Surat Al-Ahzab. وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمرهم ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل ضلالا مبينا. This ayah is saying that if Allah and His Messenger come at you with a command, you shall have no choice but to obey. And he who disobeys Allah and His Messenger has gone far astray. Loose translation. But I said to you that the occasion of the revelation of this verse was that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was trying to seek for marriage to his Zayd ibn Haritha, to Zaynab bint Jahsh. He wanted to ask her to marry Zayd. Just like when a father goes and meets the family of the prospective bride, and he says, my son wants to marry your daughter, right? And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, not only did he think of him as a son, he gave him his name, and he was called Zayd ibn Muhammad for the longest time. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came and said, ادعوهم لآبائهم. Then this is, to be more fair, just give them the names of their fathers. Zayd ibn Haritha, you know, he was abandoned as a young boy, he was lost in a battle, and Nabi took him and he used to love him. He used to love this young man, young boy at the time, and took him to his home, and he grew up in the household of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Gave him his name, said, you are Zayd ibn Muhammad. Then years go by, and then the father and the uncle of Zayd happen to learn that he is with the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they come seeking him. And they say, we are your parents. I am your father and this is your uncle. We need you to come with us. Leave Muhammad and come to us. And Nabi loves the man, and he says, what shall I do? You know what? What you ask Zayd, whatever his choice is, I am going to abide by it. The Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the dad and the uncle asked Zayd, you want to come with us? Your real parents? Or do you want to stay with Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? And Zayd, of course, said, I cannot choose over the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam anybody else. And he stayed. At any rate, that was a sidetrack, but the verse itself, although it is addressing al-mu'min wal-mu'mina, Zayd ibn Haritha wa Zaynab bint Jahsh, particularly, it's for that particular case, here, that rule is applicable. وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. Meaning, it applies to you and I also, and to every Muslim, to the day of judgment, that if there is a command from Allah or His Messenger, there is no choice but to obey. You see? Then I agree with you if you put it in context and you understand where the rule applies and apply it correctly, then we're all okay. العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. Indeed, the verse was addressing these two persons, but it is essentially for us. Not here. Not here. And they say, how? What makes you think that it doesn't apply here? We are claiming that it does apply here too. And I say, okay. If that is the case, then go to the next ayah. And the next ayah says, وَخَتَمْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ فِيهَا أَنَّ النَّفْسَ بِالنَّفْسِ وَالْعَيْنَ بِالْعَيْنِ وَالْأَنْفَ بِالْأَنْفِ وَالْأُذُنَ بِالْأُذُنِ وَالسِّنَّ بِالسِّنِّ وَالْجُرُوحَ قِصَاص. This is a verse about al-qisas. About al-qisas.
Qisas means what?
Al-qisas, retribution.
Okay.
You take the eye of a person and they have the right to take one of your eyes. You break a tooth, they break a tooth, and so forth. وَالْجُرُوحَ قِصَاص. Any wound or injuries are retributable the same way, in the same manner. طيب. وَكَتَبْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ. This is a continuation of the previous ayah. This is addressing whom? Also Bani Israel. Also Bani Israel. فَمَنْ تَصَدَّقَ بِهِ فَهُوَ كَفَّارَةٌ لَهُ. And then again, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. And here we wait and stop and say, hold it. Here you say, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, the same preface of the last ayah. And then you say, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Why? You also have to go back to the cause, occasion of the revelation to understand. To understand. This is talking about the qisas. What happened there? Again, Bani Israel. And in Medina, they were different tribes. Banu Nadir was the highest tribe in social standing. And Banu Qurayza was of lesser social status. And of course, living in the city like in Medina, and people get into fights or disputes, and there are killings that take place, and retribution is called upon. In this case, if somebody from Bani Qurayza killed someone from Bani Nadir, the upper Ashari, then they would kill him. They would kill him. But if it's the other way around, Bani Nadir, the upper, would kill somebody from Bani Qurayza, they would be allowed to give in the diya, give in money in return for that life that they have wasted. مش كده؟ طيب, the mandate of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not that way. You either allow it to go both ways with retribution, or you allow it to go both ways with fidya, a diya, right? But for the higher to pay and for the lower to be killed, that is what? That's injustice. That is injustice in the qisas itself, right? There is no surprise then when you read the end of the ayah to say what? وَلَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. That is a statement of the status of dhulm. You see
So
the distinction?
to translate the last sentence.
And he who does not rule by that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent, those are the unjust people. الظالمون. الظالمون من الظلم. Right? So here there is a different ending. You see? The previous ayah, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. In this ayah, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Why? The context is different. Hence, the tail end of the ayah has to be different. You skip an ayah and you go back to the 47 instead of 46. Skip 46 and go to 47, and you will read the following. all within the space of half a page in the Quran. وَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْإِنْجِيلِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ. Now he's talking to who? About who? أهل الإنجيل, النصارى, Christians. وَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْإِنْجِيلِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ. They shall rule by that which Allah has sent in the Injil, in the Bible. طيب. And then the ayah concludes, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. مش كده؟ طب that's a totally different ending for the verse. مش كده؟ And here, there is a reason also, because he's talking about the Nasara. And in Nasara, the problem was that they have deviated from the mandate of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have the mandate, but they've deviated from it. To deviate from the mandate is to be in a state of fisq. That's exactly the definition of fisq. And therefore, the ayah has to end with فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. When I argue with people like that, they are stunned. They have nothing to say. They have nothing to say, because I'll tell them, fine, the three ayat that I quoted to you end with the following statement: وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. In one, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. In the second, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. In the third, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Therefore, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ is not really an absolute statement that you can generalize and say فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. لا. Kafirun in the case of had the zillah to be changed with the Bani Israel. That's the difference. Right? Al-Zalimun, when you try to be unjust in applying the retribution. Bani Israel. Al-Fasiqun, when Al-Nasara deviate from their path of righteousness and go astray, then they are fasiqun. Therefore, you cannot really, you see what I'm trying to say? You cannot really say that وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ is the preface for فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. لا, you take the verse in context. This is the problem. Should these people have spent 1/10 the time they did to collude and to plan and to, collect arms and to kill, if they had spent that 1/10 of that time understanding the book, we wouldn't have been in this mess today. We wouldn't have been in this mess today. But it's all because of misconception of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, they're not going to tell you that we're doing anything other than applying the Quran. Ya akhi, you have something against the Quran? No, we don't have anything against the Quran. We have something against your interpretation of the Quran. That is where we have a problem. And again, I am going to make this a blanket statement. I have not found a verse in the Quran Kareem that was more misinterpreted than وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ 44 Al-Maeda. Take it out of context, twist it, turn it back to killing, murdering, setting people on fire when they're still alive, doing whatever massacres to kids and women and all over. And they say that Islam is a violent religion. Of course, the Western world should say that now. And that we are threatened by the fundamentalists and stuff like that. Yeah, but please go to statistics and see what percentage of people from the Muslim world have suffered on the hands of these, and what percentage of the Western world, non-Muslims, have suffered. And you will find that the most who have endured are us. It doesn't really need much brains to realize, look at what is happening in Syria, look at what's happening in Iraq, look at what's happening in Libya, in Yemen, and the rest of the world, in Kashmir. in Burma, in China, Muslimin being slaughtered by Muslimin. By Muslimin. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. That cannot be something that we have to accept. أبدا. We have to stand and stand firm in defending this deen and defending this book and say, no, you have it wrong. You have it wrong. And for that, wallahi, I blame the scholars of this deen. I blame our scholars. And not the least of whom are scholars of Al-Azhar. Al-Azhar, who have the knowledge and who have the know-how to fight back and are just taking a wimpy stand in face of this thing. Just last year, a few months back, I think there was a question presented to Al-Azhar about the ISIS people when they do these killings. How can you call these Muslimin? Huh? They are not Muslimin. And you know that the Azhar did not dare to call them non-Muslims because of their deeds. He said, the young kids who are being misled and, but we can bring them back to, bring home to where they are running around killing Muslims left and right. If you are not going to say that these deserve to be killed, then you don't understand your deen. Then you don't understand the deen.
But Maulana, you can say, you can go and say, you can kill them.
Right?
But you can't say they're kafir.
Now, that is indeed what they didn't even say that you can go and kill them. They said they went astray, but they say La ilaha illallah. Allah, if they say La ilaha illallah and still commit atrocities.
No, but if they kill, they get killed.
Don't they kill left and right?
Yeah, then they get killed.
Then they get
but
killed.
We can't say they're kafir.
We're not talking about the kafir. We're talking about the acceptance of them as believers still, because they say La ilaha illallah. That is the point. We're not saying kafir or not kafir. That is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge. We're saying, how can you sit there and not point out clearly that these people are gone on the wrong path and cannot defend them because they say La ilaha illallah. طيب ما هو الخوارج said La ilaha illallah.
Yeah, you can say they're on the wrong path, but you can't take out the iman out of it.
No. Well, we don't know about the iman. This is for him subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge. Absolutely.
But we can say the tahir.
No.
They say La ilaha illallah. We can't say like the one who killed Hossam ibn Zayd when he killed the guy who said La ilaha illallah, knowing that he's just saying Rasulullah was very happy with it.
Absolutely. This is why we are not getting into the area of the heart, because the Nabi told Usama, هل شققت عن صدره? Did you open up his heart and see if he is a mu'min or a kafir, or if he said La ilaha illallah in true belief, or just to seek escape from punishment, from being killed? Indeed, this is something that we are not getting into.
You know, Maulana, a lot of them repented.
Good for them.
Good for them is a good answer to that indeed.
It's the circumstances too. It's
Well,
like, what's his name, U.S., he ran for president he used to be a journalist and he ran for president. He's a Republican. When they asked him why are these Muslims like this, he said, well, if you watch television and you see what they see and all these Muslims have been killed, you will understand. And there's a point there. And this is Pat, by the way, this is Pat Buchanan. He's all the way to the right.
Of course he is.
And he's saying this about Muslims.
Indeed. I'll tell you one thing. I want to come to you with a story that happened many, many years ago. 2001 was the year. September 11 was the date. And I was on the West Coast, and the East, there is a difference of 3 hours there, and I was awakened by a phone call. Yes. He said, I'm such and such. I don't know, sir. Did you watch television and see what happened? I said, no, I'm just preparing my coffee. It's 6 a.m. He said, open TV and watch CNN. And I turn TV, and of course I see the planes and the towers, and the things that you all have seen hundreds of times by now. And then he said, I'm going to call you later. I said, okay. And then later in the day he called me, towards the evening. And he said, did you see? I said, yes, I saw. He says, aren't you glad? I said, what? He said, aren't you happy? I said, how can I be happy? He said, look at what happened to these people. Because of what they've done to us, we are now getting even. And I said, how will I put it? Are you going to tell me that these people in the Twin Towers that were there, that just sat there at 9 a.m. to start a work day, to be paid $20 an hour to take a paycheck for their kids and their homes and to make a living for themselves, these are the people you want to punch, you want to kill? Huh? That's not the way you think. That is not the way we think. So, but I felt that there is a lot of us Muslims who had this sense of تشفي, sense of we had our revenge by having this happen. Wallahi, we did it, because what happened next was what? Afghanistan, Iraq, what's happening in the Middle East today. All of this was a result of that. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to fight back, what did he say in Baqarah in 195, I believe it was? وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ. Then what? وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. This is the first verse that opened the door for us Muslims to fight in battle for our deen. The first, before that there was no call for military confrontation. This is the first time that it appears in the Quran. Me Hossam Nasser, 195 al-Baqarah. وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. You shall fight. For what? For the sake of Allah. فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Who? الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ. Those who are fighting you. You do not leave the person who is fighting you and then turn around and kill innocent civilians who have nothing to do with this. No. الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا. And you shall not be the aggressors. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Allah doesn't like those who are aggressors. This is it. This is how I see it, Sheikh Shakib. And by the way, when after the Jum'ah, when we were talking,
I don't see anything.
Nah, I know, but we can expand on it, inshallah, because I understand. When we spoke about this after the Jum'ah, Shakib said, we're going to have a problem, you and I, tonight. Because this is what are we going to talk about? I said, we're going to talk about this. This, by the way, this idea is known as Fikrat al-Hakimiyya. Al-Hakimiyya. They gave it that name, which is, how do you rule? Al-Hakimiyya from al-Hukm, from وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. It's called the idea of al-Hakimiyya. That we should rule by the rule of Allah, or else every hell breaks loose. I apologize if I cannot come to terms, you and I, on this one, but we can always have an open dialogue at any time. But for the benefit of the discussion, we may actually want to have a comment or question or disagreement even from Anybody who wants to jump in.
I'm not defending the act.
No, let him finish, yes.
I'm not defending the act.
I understand you're not defending that for sure.
I just said if they kill, they get killed.
If they kill, they get killed. So we are in agreement with
But
that.
I'm just talking about the iman.
The Iman we don't know.
Yeah, we
Who
can't
knows?
take it out.
Who knows
If somebody
about the-
says La ilaha illallah, you can't say he's kafir.
No, we are not saying he's kafir. We're leaving that
Yeah.
to
To him.
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No,
But يعني
because if we say they're kafir, we're just like them.
حقا. And it's a very
They turn around and say no, you're
طبعا
kafir.
طبعا
We-
then that's يعني when two Muslims accuse one another of الكفر, there's a hadith that one of them will get it. فيعني it's not for us to get there at all. But what I'm saying is Shakib is the following. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who sees that which we do not see and hears that which we do not hear, said to the Sahaba, there shall come a time when you will find people among you to whose prayers you will belittle your own prayers, and to whose fasting you will belittle your own fasting. And they shall recite the Quran, but it shall go no further than their throats. لا يجاوز حناجرهم. And then describes him by saying what? يمرقون من الدين كما يمرق السهم من الرمية. Allahu Akbar. These people, with all that prayer that you really cannot even match, or the fasting that you cannot even come close to, and the recitation of the Quran, all of that, know that these people are getting out of this deen as fast as an arrow goes through the target and gets out.
But Sayyidina Ali did not make them kafir.
We're not
They
talking
fought
about kafir.
him. They fought him.
Absolutely.
They
That's
fought him
the
and they
end of
called
the
him
hadith.
kafir.
No.
But he never said they're kafir.
No, we're not. I'm not saying they're kafir. All I'm saying is, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, if I were to be alive at the time, I would fight them and kill them.
So did Sayyidina
لقتلتهم.
So did Sayyidina Ali.
Nah.
He fought them and he killed them.
And he
but
killed
never-
them. Nah.
He said his famous saying, أَلَا مِنَ الْكُفْرِ قَدْ فَرُّ.
حق. Absolutely. I think we are in agreement, you and I. We are in agreement because I never want to go into anybody's heart and say he's a kafir or a mu'min. That's not my call. But what I'm saying is they deserve to be fought, they deserve to be killed. Whatever is in their heart, whatever is the status, that's for him subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge. But if they create havoc, they create harm for the society, we cannot accept. Shahid, and then we go to Muhammad.
Please, the translation for fasikun.
Fasikun, transgressors.
Transgressors, they were transgressors. Okay.
Right.
So, such people
Aywa?
can be, if you can't say they're non-Muslims, you can certainly say that they have transgressed against the spirit of Islam.
Right?
Their actions are totally contrary
طبعا.
to the
طبعا.
religion of Islam.
طبعا. And the fisq this is where Shakib wants to make the distinction. The fisq is a stage that is below al-kufr. It does not reach to be labeled as a kafir.
Right.
But it's a little bit less.
Right, because they recite the Shahada,
Aywa?
we don't
You cannot
label
dismiss.
them as non-Muslims,
No.
but we can certainly say that their actions and their thinking is totally
Rejected.
contrary
No.
to the Islamic value.
Just as the same way that you submit a Muslim to be killed by قصاص, for example, right? ولكن في القصاص حياة لأولي الألباب مش كده؟ We kill a Muslim because he killed another person, right? We're not saying he's not a Muslim. All we're saying is that he has committed a heinous act that is worthy of him being killed. Muhammad.
Can we still generalize the rule about ومن لم يحكم بما أنزل الله based on the three ayahs?
أيوة.
فأولئك هم الكافرون والظالمون والفاسقون.
أيوة.
And we can say that it's any of these levels, anyone who does not rule according to what Allah says and what Allah descends on His Prophet. is in any of these three levels, fisq or zulm or even kufr? Can
Yeah.
you generalize it in this way or it's still not valid?
To my understanding, I would be more comfortable restricting the verse to the sabab al-nuzul, to the occasion for the revelation. It is applicable to that. I don't want to generalize, because generalizing it gets you into problems. It runs you into serious problems. It opens the door for havoc. And that cannot be the intent.
But could it be some
No.
some of the interpretations about that? In some ways, that someone makes a problem based on he does not or she does not rule according to Islam, according to what the
No,
law says,
no.
and he did not that make a lot of harm, so probably he's a fasiq. And then he goes to zulm, and then he goes to really kufr when he or she really does something.
طبعا everybody is free to يعني interpret according to their يعني heart's content and their يعني satisfaction of what they hear and what they understand from the verse. It's up to you. But
Kufr has nothing to do with the doing.
with the
With the doing.
nah,
Doing something. Kufr has something to do with
طبعا
with the saying.
yeah,
If you say kalimat al-kufr, you're
No.
kafir.
nah.
If you don't say it, if you say kalimat al-iman, you can't. You can't say
Again.
this guy is kafir.
Nah, nah. So that is why again we really shy away from labeling people as kafir or not kafir. But your question was something else. Your question was is saying that you can stepwise the argument from fisq to going to kufr and apply it still to the man lam yahkum bima anzala Allah. And that is not how I understand. It's just that. Could it be an interpretation that is acceptable? Of course. Who knows? I'm not claiming that I am an interpreter of the Quran Kareem. I only say what I understand of it. Shahid.
Two countries like Saudi Arabia now
Nah.
bombing Yemen and killing a lot of innocent people
Nah.
there, right? And in return, they did something and they killed some innocent people by suicide attack or whatever.
Hey.
They don't have those weapons to
Nah.
fight. So both are killing innocent people. So
Nah.
in that case, what you were saying earlier, the aggressor is Saudi.
The aggressor is
Saudi.
on the wrong.
And you're
Yes.
fighting it to them, but you are so small, you cannot fight at that level.
Nah.
If you are killing somebody like innocent children or someone you kill, so that's something. What is your say on it based on what you described earlier? Like, we shouldn't go.
It shouldn't have happened to start.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What is happening is haram. It's haram. The hadith is clear. إذا التقى المسلمان بسيفيهما فالقاتل والمقتول في النار. When two Muslims face off in battle, the killer and the one killed are both going to hell. There is no justification. You cannot make a case for Muslims killing Muslims.
Yeah, but Yemen is not the one who attacked Saudi Arabia.
No. Well, now we get into politics, and that becomes very hairy.
The aggressor is the one who is attacking, and they are
But yeah,
defending.
from the
themselves.
standpoint of Saudi,
Yeah.
they will tell you that the Houthiyyin, which is a group that is sympathizer to a Shia, supported by Iran, you know the story,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And they are conspiring against them, and that's the longest border that Saudi has with any country is that which it has with Yemen. فوي can from Yemen you drive for 20 minutes, you are at the car. فالسعودية they tell you we can't allow that to happen, again you get into politics and you see لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Our status is disgraceful in all the Muslim countries. It's a disgrace. Mr. Saeed, and then we'll get to Mr. Tariq.
So, my comment is on the subject matter that
Hey.
I remember that there is one group back home
Ah,
in India of course, I think it will be all around the world. It says inal hukum illa billah. I mean, which means the hukumiyat ilahi, right? Hakimiyat ilahi.
الحاكمية لله.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember, I think many years, 10, 30 years back, I mean, I heard that whoever is doing the service in the government service,
Nah,
they asked them to quit the job.
of course.
And whoever is casting for a non-Muslim government, they said you are doing shirk because you are supporting a
You're supporting a non-Muslim.
non-Muslim.
طبعا.
So many people in reality, they quit the job.
طبعا.
They
At least out of fear.
Right. So, but now what's happening is, I don't know, because of multiple talkings, speeches, everything,
أيوة.
they're not going that much level, but still in their mind they feel
They have still an influence.
right.
And they can talk people out of their jobs.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
This is the same mindset. The same mindset. And again, these are all old ideas in new forms. Old ideas in new forms.
That would be Fasikun also.
Papa.
On the straight.
Papa,
Yeah.
Tariq.
As you said that it started with forage
Hey.
1400 years
Yes.
ago, and it's still continuing. And whenever it's politics and religion, and whoever is in power, they bring the religion in to politics, and then they justify it.
Absolutely.
And for example, I was on Umrah, and when this Yemen
A situation.
situation was about 3 years ago,
Yes.
and on the khutbah in Khana Kaaba, the Imam was justifying all that, what they were doing, all the bombing they were doing and everything. So, I mean, if it has been happening for so long, as Muslims, as you said that the scholars should work on it, but if we have not worked for 1400 years, how
When
long?
are we gonna learn?
Yeah, I mean, what is going to be the outcome of it? I mean,
Well-
are we going to be just manipulated like this forever?
Unfortunately,
But
this
not
is
all
the
the
situation now. We are
Not all the
hoping that.
scholars are justifying what Saudi Arabia is doing.
But I heard from many scholars in Saudi, even especially
Hey.
in Haram, they publicly said whatever ISIS is doing is not Islam.
Yeah, yeah. They're
That
not,
is-
not all of them
I-
justifying.
No, I heard it myself that the same ayahs you were mentioning, they
Yes.
were mentioning that, and they were justifying it.
No,
Yeah,
I never
you know
heard
who was
any
saying
case.
it? That guy who was saying it works for the
Yeah.
government.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
Of course he
Of
does.
course.
Of course he does.
Yeah,
but
that's the mouthpiece.
He's saying there are other scholars from Saudi Arabia that are saying what
I
Saudi Arabia
understand.
is doing is not
Sorry to interrupt you, but I understand that in private they may be saying something else, but in public they are saying something else. So how?
I think Tariq's main concern is that of all the places at the Kaaba,
Right.
they are bringing politics into
Right.
religion.
They
How
are.
shameful is that?
Well,
It's a disaster,
like Shakib saying, these are government employees.
right?
And by the way,
I think Tariq
Yes.
is talking about Yemen. He
No.
was talking about
No.
the khutbah about Yemen, no?
Pardon me?
The khutbah, the Imam during the khutbah was talking about
He
Yemen.
was-
Yeah, but at that time there was a lot of bombing going on
Yeah.
and everything, and they were just, maybe it was the government policy to justify it.
yes.
Yeah,
And
Yemen,
that's
but
why
not
they-
ISIS.
You know, very soon they're going to stop bombing, and that imam is going to say, "Oh, this is the right way to do it."
I understand that.
They just
But-
do
but that's-
whatever the government is saying to do.
Okay.
This is
And that's why we
somehow-
are where we are.
Some-
I mean,
some-
that's why we are where we are.
Yani, it's amazing. I'm going to tell you a contradiction that I find almost hilarious. For me to come and stand on this member and give a khutbah Jum'ah, I have nobody to tell me what to say and what not to say. I have a free hand to choose the topic, choose the ayat, choose the hadith, and say what I have to say and walk down. But in the Kaaba, he is handed a written transcript that he reads off the khutbah of the Jummah, and he has to practice so that he doesn't miss a word.
It's in all the
From the-
massages.
It's not just the Kaaba, it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Wherever the government has a hand,
Khalas.
you say their politics.
In our country also, now they said, you know what, this is causing too much turmoil in society. We are going to unify the khutbah Jum'ah. Here it is, Surat Al-Maeda. Every Friday has a khutbah. Emails into that. And everybody says the same thing.
We have the same in
Khalas.
Muslim,
Khalas.
It comes in.
Yeah. We are in a sad situation. What Tariq is saying is, when will we learn and when will we change? This is the question.
We pray for that.
Or are we always going to be at the tail end of all the nations?
Yeah.
Ya subhanallah. Ya subhanallah. When we have the resources, we have the wealth, we have the manpower, we have everything to be in a better place in this world and be respected, yeah. Be respected. And not have يعني لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله يعني the Jews looking at us and يعني they're laughing at us.
Exactly.
Because they're doing everything they want to do, and they don't even fear retribution, because the Muslimin are يعني لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
We are our own worst enemies.
How?
Nobody else needs to do anything. We
Yeah.
we
We have to
destroy
change.
ourselves anyway.
Mr. Al-Khan.
Yeah, Sheikh, slightly tangential. The ayah you mentioned about Zayd ibn Harisa.
زيد بن حارثة وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة الآية 36 الأحزاب.
I might have missed the point, but was it absolute or specific just for them?
No, this is where one of the situations where in العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب.
Generalization from
It is just has been related to Zayd وزينب,
Okay.
but it applies as a general rule.
Okay, yeah.
And that marriage, by the way, did not last.
Did not last.
Did not last. Because when the wife thinks that she is of a higher status than the husband, that's a recipe for disaster. Will never work out. Yani, no man, no matter how menial his position is in life, will accept that his wife will look down on him. No man will accept that. For this marriage, well, he himself, Zayd, was the one who wanted out of marriage. He said, Rasulullah, I want out.
Well, let me ask you this question, because in today's world things have changed.
Huh?
Where husband and wife both work.
Aywa.
And sometimes woman earns more than
That's right.
husband.
That's right.
Husband does. So there's always some kind of imbalance.
Nah,
You know, and
nah.
it's automatic to feel a little bit more.
If you can make it work, and if you have yani, means to iron out those wrinkles, you can do it.
She can be smarter than him, but she just
ما
doesn't
فيش
have
مانع.
to say it
ما
to
فيش
him.
مانع.
Like, hey,
But don't diminish
Yeah.
the man in his manhood.
my mom used to get so mad at me when I say the brains are next door, you know.
Ah,
When I told her that the brains in the house are with my wife.
yeah.
She never liked it, my mom.
Well,
you know.
well, but again, culture. Our culture is different, yeah.
It's true.
But it goes both ways. Either
Of
a
course.
man or a woman. Neither should
Nah.
demean the other
No.
partner, because it's insulting. Whether you're a man or a woman, you're not going to accept that.
We're not saying that it is acceptable the other way around.
Right,
No,
right,
no.
right.
We're saying that in this particular case, that was the bone of contention.
Of course.
That Sittina Zainab felt as a Sayyida.
And she
يعني
said too, she said I don't want the marriage.
she refused the proposal from the Nabi, and the Nabi repeated that time. No, you shall marry him. And when the verse came, and the verse ended up ومن يعص الله ورسوله فأولئك فقد ضل ضلالا مبينا. She said, I'm not going to disobey Rasulullah. If that is what you want me to do, that's what I will do.
So, Prophet Muhammad
Alayhi
sallallahu he
sallam.
approached Zainab first, right?
Nah.
For the marriage of Zayd.
For Zayd.
First, initially.
Nah.
Yeah.
And when Zayd wanted to divorce her, he actually discouraged him. He told him, no, try and keep her. But then it didn't work out, and he had to divorce her. And then it was meant that Rasulullah is the one to marry her. And then, by that action, you understand that the working of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is establishing the fact that Zayd, who you call Zayd ibn Muhammad, is not ibn Muhammad. Hence, if he marries a woman and he divorces her, Muhammad can marry her. Something that you cannot do with somebody who is married to your own son. And we mentioned that in the khutbah. We said this is called tahreem ba'in, eternal forbidding. You cannot. For example, there is a tahreem that is contingent. For example, al-jam' bin al-ukhtayn, you cannot marry two sisters. But if you marry one and you divorce her, you can marry the other. Although that is really not a wise thing to do, but legally you can. Mr. Saeed.
In that verse, the Zayd ibn Haris is mentioned, right?
Now.
Because I remember the only one Sahabi is named.
فلما قضى زيد منها وطرا.
The only
When he is
one-
done with her,
Right. The one
زوجناكها.
Right.
Now.
No other Sahabi.
No other Sahabi's name, Alam, is mentioned other than Zayd.
Even say
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
even say Abu Bakr.
Even Abu Bakr. Sahib.
Right. So
Right?
Yes.
By his name.
Sahib.
Maybe we make the announcement in case that one of the ladies have a question.
Yes, if the ladies in the back would like to participate with a question, they are more than welcome to do so right now. Our ladies are content with having a passive roles today. But anyway, we will always have a microphone ready for you. And inshallah, if you would like to participate, you are more than welcome to do so. Because we do not.
Sometimes they could write down a piece of paper.
Yeah, but they haven't. We have sent them a wireless mic this time. Yeah. We have sent them. Okay. Any other commentary about this very sensitive discussion? Very good.
I probably have a
So
question, but
what's
it's
it
probably
mean?
for the other side, not right now.
Now,
I have a question, but it's not for now. It's probably
like,
for the later
we can talk about it on the side.
Yeah, inshallah.
Or
It's
next
about-
time?
It's about Tabanni.
Tabanni.
In the United States.
أيوة.
Yeah,
Ah.
so
Yeah,
it's
this is
not-
Saib.
I just want to say, I don't think justice to anyone for a reason, just please forgive them.
Allah yabarak. May Allah grant you all the success and have light between your hands and in your path to do what you are embarking upon. Allah, all of us know that you are doing the right thing. And may Allah bless you. And may Allah give our doctors the insight to be able to give our brother Shakib comfort. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ مِنْ دَاءٍ إِلَّا وَجَعَلَ لَهُ دَوَاءً. For every ailment there is a treatment. But he also said, عَرِفَهُ مَنْ عَرَفَ وَجَهِلَهُ مَنْ جَهَلَ. Yani, some doctors will know the trick, others will miss the point. We make dua inshallah that his physicians have the insight to give him relief inshallah and he'll be in good health. اللهم اغفر لنا يا ارحم الراحمين وارحمنا انت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا هب لنا من لدنك رحمه انك انت الوهاب اللهم ارحم الراحمين اجعل تجمعنا هذا تجمعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما وبارك اللهم لنا في جمعنا هذا امين امين وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين بارك
So
الله
next week,
فيكم.
what's the time?
Oh yes, the time change inshallah.
8:30.
How do you? The Aisha is at 8:30.